Hello and welcome back to Unforgettable Crafts. We are back in the kitchen today making some candles because we have sold out of our light of hope, which is amazing. It smells phenomenal and we need more. So what we have right here is our tomato. That's what I call it. I really don't know how to say it, but it sounds fun that way. And we have it at 185-degree temperature, Fahrenheit. We have our little pouring pitchers times 2 because I'm going to divide it into half and half, and a stainless steel spoon. It's dripping little pieces of wax on it. I have my digital thermometer, which is amazing. It does not tell human temperature though. I learned that. Anyway, I have my piston funnel, which is amazing and wonderful. We have vessels galore. We have our weighing station, which we have a big weighing station. I just got a new one in that I haven't tried for candles yet. But this is a KitchenAid and it has 2 separate ones, which is nice because this one goes further into the decimal range. So when I'm measuring fragrances or something small, it works fantastic. Got our fragrances for today. And then all of the goodies for making the actual candle, like the wick stickers, the wicks themselves, and some wick setters. So the first ones that we're gonna make, we have never made before, which are pink 14-ounce vessels, 11-ounce candles, which I'm really excited about. So we're gonna do that, but this is for the next section. And I need to finish cleaning these up, so join me as I clean. So we have the isopropyl alcohol, and we are going to spray it. And I usually do 2 vessels at a time. And I take my microfiber cloth, and I go around the inside and work my way out to the outside. And then I flip them over so that I know that I already did it. And then I'll show you something really cool that came in on these. So I haven't had this before, but on this, I hope we can see this, there are actual bubbles in the glass and it looks like they're like running up the side. Is that better? But you can, the top one I can feel a little, but the bottom ones I couldn't. There was one other one that had it as well. Oh, there it is. That one. Those are cool looking. I like them. I like weird. I like unique. So anything that's out of the norm, I'm going to buy it or look at it or play with it. But that is how we clean it. Then we take it to our oven and we put our oven at the lowest temperature, which is 170 degrees on my oven. And then we let them warm up. And the purpose for that is so that we don't get wet spots, which in the candle, when it goes around, it affixes to the sides unless there's a wet spot, which means it's come off and did not adhere onto it properly. So the purpose is that we get that up to 170. We're getting our wax down to around 160. That cools off a little. They're at the same temperature. Hopefully it melts to the sides. And here we go. We are going to start measuring our fragrance oil. So our wax is at temperature, but what I like to do is mix the 2 while it's coming out of the tomato because it adheres to its, well, emulsifies into each other. What's the right word for that, guys? It mixes together well, and then I can start mixing it from there and stirring it. But anyway, we're going to turn on our weight scale, zero it out, and we're gonna go to 3.5, and hopefully I don't make too much of a mess because this one doesn't have a pretty pourer on it, and I haven't found the right size nozzle yet. So we're going to 3.5, baby. Next. Now we gotta zero it out again. The little cup weighs 3 ounces. And again. We're faster in the beginning and then I start slowing down. Too much. Too slow. Oh my gosh. Just Ah, there we go. 3.5, baby. All right, so now we get to add the wax and the fragrance together. So as I told you, we're gonna divide this into two, and I need to put about 52 ounces-ish. The way that these ounces are measured on my little pouring pitcher, it's not right for what I'm doing. It's always lower, and I always run out of wax before I actually get to what I wanted to be at. So I always put a little bit more in now. So we're gonna watch that spin, and I'm gonna add my fragrance at the same time. Because when that wax comes out, it gets cool fast. So we're gonna go to about 54. We'll try that. Luckily, this isn't rocket science, so I don't have to be exact. And then I'll go ahead and just move this one underneath in case it drips at all. Move this over, and then we'll start on this little guy and getting it up to the same. God, that smells so good. So now we are officially waiting on them to cool down. And while we wait, we stir approximately 2 minutes. Some people say you stir it for a little while and let the cyanide do its job and do its chemical reaction thing. And then wait a little while and then stir it again and just kind of get the action chemicals going. But some people do 2 minutes straight and then they just let it sit after that. So we're going to stir for a few minutes. Ooh, let's go the opposite direction. Talent. I haven't found that one way works better than the other, just to be completely honest with you. But I do want to show you, we're going to use our thermometer here. And I turn it on and then I point it down in there so you can see the little red line dots in there, maybe. I don't know if you can see them down in there or not, but it's showing at 162 and 163, 2.3. Yeah. So we're gonna wait until that's about 145 to 155, and that's when we can actually start pouring. I pour that into my piston funnel and then I pour it into my candles. But during that time, I have to get my vessels ready too. So I'm gonna take this time to talk about something new that we did. So the first thing, me and my honey, Mr. Unforgettable, went on a date to a pottery place, and we had never made pottery before. So this was an interesting little side trip for us. But this is my honey bunny's mug that he made, and down inside, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little tiny turtle in there, which has a story behind it, of course. But I think he did a phenomenal job on this one. And this one is the one that I made. And it actually, I squished it to match my hand, my grip. And then down inside of it, it says Unforgettable. Aren't they cute? We had a lot of fun. So I have a lot higher respect for people that make pottery because I don't know if I could do this all the time. And then another new item that we have made. So I know you guys saw the boba candles that I was playing with. This is the end result of that. So they're in the cutest little pudding jars. 2 little bobas on the top. And then you can see the bobas like it's being filled with the milk. I love these. I think these are just the cutest. And then the first ones that we made that were wax, I just made white like the other ones that we have in our line. But my honey bunny had a fantastic idea. And I'm gonna flip this over so you can see the back side. And then inside, there's little balls in each one. It smells so good. It's very fruity. Lovely. So get you some boba bites. That's what we named it. And then next, I decided to go down a little bit different path because I am obsessive compulsive with my chapstick lip balms, and I like for them to be a certain way. I don't like it when they're sticky. I don't like it when they're too moist. I'm very picky. So I made my own, and I made it very light peppermint. So it's got a little hint of peppermint on it, and these are our new little labels, and they are done with beeswax. Just so you know, coconut oil and beeswax are in here, and the ingredients are listed, of course, but we do shrink wrap them as well. So just like at the store, these are ready and for external use only. I'm really excited to share these with you guys. So check it out. Come by our pop-up markets and get you some, or purchase it online on www.unforgettables. I can't even talk today. www.unforgettablecrafts.store. All right, let's check temperatures. Stir a little bit. Stir a little bit. Turn on our amazing ThermoPro. And we are still at 160. 158.9. 160. So we got plenty of time to wait. So while we're waiting, I'm gonna go ahead and hang out with Mr. Unforgettable for a little bit. See you in a minute. All right, now we are moving on to the most important part, getting our wick in our wick on our wick sticker, and then into our candle. So you take off these little tabs, and then you press it on. And each one of my large candles take 2 wicks. And the reason I know that is because I tested it and I realized that it was tunneling, which means the wick was too small. So we're gonna take this and we're gonna stick it down in the center. These are warm, and the reason that helps is because that sticker adheses to it a little bit better because it's warm. Kind of melts it together. And then we twist them down. Next. Some people use a fork to press them down. Some people use their fingers. Some people use different types of setters. I tried a few different setters. I didn't really care for them, so I'm sticking with what I like and what's easier for me. The next step we're going to do is to pour some of our wax into our piston funnel, and then we will start filling these little guys up. I'm going to zero out the weigh scale with all the metal and everything on it so that we get an accurate reading of how much wax we're putting in it, because I like to be accurate. Now this little guy, one thing to pay attention to if you are a candle maker is to be careful how much you stir, especially right here at the end, because the more bubbles that you mix in, the more bubbles that can come here, and whenever it dries you'll get craters and little holes, especially in soy wax. So here we go, zeroing this little guy out. Now we're going to 11 ounces. This piston funnel will be able to make one 11-ounce jar, and then probably half of the other. Getting close, I slow down. Sometimes I'm not paying attention. I go way over. Let's see how much it goes. Oh my goodness. Oh, so close. 9.5. So it does 11 and then 9.5 when it's close to the tippy top. All right, just a little bit more in this guy. There we go, right at 11. Oop, I'm putting it in the wrong place. And those two are officially done. And we move our next two over. So I usually try to do 4 at a time. And that way I'm not getting all of my jars out of the oven at the same time, and then they're getting too cool too fast, which means I just wasted all of that time getting them warm to begin with. Refill. Look at that golden liquid there. So much goodness. And I do use 100% soy wax. So I like it to be eco-friendly. There we go. And those two are done. Now I need to grab my next jars and I'll start wicking those up. All right, so I took out some more vessels. I took out 4 of them. I got 2 large and 2 small vessels. So these are my 11-ounce candles and my 5-ounce candles. I don't know if you saw it or not, but recently on Facebook, we gave a glimpse into the future of our candle vessels. So I highly recommend you follow us on our social media sites, Facebook and Instagram specifically, some new updates on what is coming, what we're making in the background, because that will be a huge change in the future. I absolutely love these pink jars. I'm not really a pink girl, but when it represents something that I love, I'm okay with it. Alright, and now I have to change wicks over because I use a different wick for my 5-ounce vessels, and I only use 1 in each. And I did go through a few different wicks before I landed on these with my testing, and I had a few people, thank you to them, that tested out some of my candles and gave me feedback. I actually made a little spreadsheet on Google Forms and had them link to it and asked them to give me feedback on each one, because one of the things about candles is you don't want to burn them for longer than 4 hours, but when you're testing them, you test them for the full 4 hours. So if you burn them earlier, you might get a malfunction in your testing. Here, I'm going to switch those around. I'm going to zero these out. We'll see how much is left in this little guy before we switch over. Ooh, 2.5. To our next pitcher. There we go. And we're going to pour that little boy in. This is rose, jasmine, and bergamot. And I have to say it's definitely one of my favorite fragrances that we have. It's like an addictive flavor. I don't know why I always say flavor. Fragrance. Don't eat the candle. And 211. All right, 11 and 5. And then we have another 11 and 5. Should we zero those out? Can we get there? Can we do it? did it. Yay, we win! A candle. Here we go. So again, this is the 14-ounce jar, 11-ounce candle. And this is the first time we're making the Light of Hope in this size because it has been so popular that we figured instead of it being a seasonal thing or a monthly thing, we would just make it a full-time thing. So this will be part of our new line. Light of Hope is staying. And I'm gonna get some more jars. Good morning. It's the next day. We've waited until our candles set. They are officially cured and awaiting us and our actions. So this is what our candles ended up looking like. Now we have some things to do. So on this one specifically, you might be able to see it. There's a little mini crater right there, which is from those air bubbles that we talked about previously. So what I want to do is I want to cut off these little wicks. They have these little devices like this that you can set down to see which area you need to trim off of your wick. And if you did that, you could set it down on the candle like so. Now you can either take these off to get to it a little easier, and they do have certain snippers that you can use. I just use these. See how small that is? That is 1/4 of an inch. It is teeny tiny. And if you haven't been a candle connoisseur, then you would never have known that you should be trimming those down to 1/4 of an inch before you light them. Now, what I'll do to fix that lovely little crater right there is my handy dandy heating gun. This little guy is amazing. And you just take it, turn it on, and you slowly go around that area because you're wanting to move the wax into that hole ultimately. And sometimes when you do this, the crater opens up even more than you thought it was. So I like to kind of heat that hole and see if it's going to move outward from there. And that should be good. That's all done, and we're gonna set that one aside and let it dry again. Doesn't take as long this time. But while we're doing that, I go through and I go ahead and cut off all these. So instead of taking that off, oh, it didn't go all the way through. It's like a little fun game for me. And we have another crater, probably because it's such a large candle. Now, some people do go lower than 1/4 of an inch. You can get these little candle setting devices in a smaller height. This just makes it easier for me. And then I'll unplug the wick from the metal setters later. Now I've already done this on these candles, but I do take my warning labels, and it has the burning instructions, tells you about trimming the wick to 1/4 of an inch, keeping the candle free of any foreign materials, and not to burn the candle over 4 hours. Of course, don't put things in your eyes, but that's where the label goes. I try to put it towards whichever side I'm going to put as the front. And then on the back side, I just write a label. I was printing them, but it was kind of a pain. So I made these last night, just had the date. Boop. And that way I know in 7 to 14 days, that candle is going to be at its peak fragrance. So people can use these now, but it's just not going to smell as good as it will in 7 to 14 days. I highly recommend waiting. The cold throw on this, which is what it smells like now when it's not hot, is amazing. But the hot throw won't be as great. So we did these last night. I also did these, and I wanted to show you the craters in these. So these I have to fix this morning. Some of them look like that. Just kind of little blips in the road basically. And there's the third one, and it has a little one, and you'll usually see those right around the wick because the air bubbles are trying to travel up that wick. Okay, now the next step, I'm going to do these off camera, is to put on our labels. Now I did not make any of the 2-ounce wax melts from the Light of Hope last night, so I don't need these. These are my 5-ounce Light of Hope, and so what I do with them is I take it, I find my prettiest side, and then I pull it taut. Ta-da! All done. Now these work a whole lot better than the big boys, and these are thermal printed, so if they get too hot and you're burning your candle too long, they might brown like the receipt paper does over time if it's in the heat. So this, I pull this one taut. These never work properly. They always have little lines in them, which infuriates my soul. But it is what it is, and I can't fix it, so I gotta get over it. See that? Ew. I don't like it at all. But it does kind of like lightning strikes. Light of Hope. Anyway, so there's that one. I wish I could make those prettier, but there we go. And that's what they look like. And last step is to put their beautiful little lids on. Just like that. Isn't it just the cutest? All right, so we have officially completed making Light of Hope. So I'm gonna finish this off camera, but I hope you have a phenomenal rest of your day. And please visit us at www.unforgettablecrafts.store. Check out all the new items, including those boba candles, the lip balms, and there's some other goodies lurking around, waiting for you. I'll see you in the next one.